What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here and for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this podversation. All right, guys. So here we go. Kevin Hart. The news is that he's supposedly suing Tasha K for extortion. Now, I want to talk about this because, listen, I don't know. I don't know the details. I don't know the background. I don't know. But let me just go ahead and read the story and then get into my thoughts about it. So the story is, Tasha K is being sued for allegedly trying to extort Kevin Hart for $250,000. In the legal documents obtained by The Blast, Hart claims Tasha K sent a representative from her blog to Kevin's team in November 2023 saying that she had an interview with Kevin's former assistant, Maisha Sheikh. And if he didn't want the damaging interview to come out, he had to cough up $250,000. He then sent Tasha a cease and desist, saying that she did not have permission to discuss any story about him and he wouldn't be paying her any money. Tasha then posted a snippet of the interview on her page, a move that Kevin and his legal team looked like a threat. They believed that Tasha was attempting to send a message that if the money wasn't paid, she would release the entire interview. You have already engaged in criminal conduct and tortious acts that would entitle Mr. Hart to monetary damages against you should he elect to commence civil litigation regarding this matter, the lawsuit states. To the extent that you do not cease and desist now, your liability for such monetary damages will increase, as will your exposure to criminal penalties. Kevin also stated in the lawsuit that anything Sheikh said would implicate her because she had to sign an NDA during her employment. So I got this story from the Neighborhood Talk, and Tasha K, she commented under it and said, full explosive interview available on TashaKLive.com. Watch it now. Listen, it ain't my dog and it ain't my fight. I don't have nothing to do with it, but I just wanted to talk about this because, listen, I listened to the interview and quite frankly, I fell asleep. I fell asleep listening to it. It really wasn't that much that I would say would be damaging. But when Kevin Hart comes out here, when it comes to stuff like this, to me, it's questionable. Now, I know a lot of people, they don't like Tasha K and they just feel like she's always sticking her foot in her mouth and she's always doing something to cause her to be in trouble. But I don't know. We'll see what comes of this because I definitely believe that especially after her situation with Cardi, that she has been moving a whole lot differently. And my personal opinion, of course, my personal opinion doesn't matter, but I'm just sharing mine because I'm on my platform. I personally do not believe that Tasha has extorted or attempted to extort Kevin Hart to prevent the interview from coming out. What may have happened, and this is just me thinking out loud, what may have happened is he and his team were made aware of this interview coming out, and they probably threatened in some way for her to not release this video, this interview, blah, blah, blah. And she may have said, well, listen, I haven't done anything wrong. I don't have a dog in the fight between you and your personal assistant. All I'm doing is interviewing her. But if you are not wanting me to release this interview, which I'm going to make money on, then you can pay me for it. That's my personal opinion, but I don't know. I'm not saying that's indeed what happened, but honestly, based on Kevin Hart's history, I'm just questioning this extortion thing, because if you all are not familiar with the past with Kevin Hart, remember the stories that came out about him cheating on his wife? Remember the viral video of him telling his wife, Aniko, how sorry he is and all this other stuff? She was pregnant at the time when he was cheating on her. There was a sex tape, all of this other stuff. Do you remember all of that? And he tried to implicate his friend, which is now a former friend, of extortion. And there were criminal charges against that guy. He was cleared of extortion from that scandal. So the story is Jackson was accused of setting up a camera in Hart's hotel room and recording his extramarital affair. Kevin Hart's former friend, JT Jackson, has been cleared of all criminal charges related to a 2017 sex tape scandal. In a video posted on social media, Hart shared an update about the case in a video in which he admits, "I'm happy that chapter in my life is over." Jackson was accused of setting up a camera in Hart's Las Vegas hotel room and recording the comedian's sexual rendezvous with Montia Sabag. In 2017, that extramarital affair went public when TMZ reported on what they described as a graphic video posting a photo of the two. At the time, Hart was framed in the scandal as somewhat of a victim, having been double-crossed by a close friend in his inner circle who reportedly tried to extort millions from him. However, Sabag said Hart and Jackson colluded to set the whole thing up for personal gain. She sued Kevin Hart for $60 million in damages, alleging intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence, and invasion of privacy. And according to the court documents, they were obtained by people, and Hart wanted the sex tape case dismissed. Sabag claimed in the court docs that Hart allowed Jackson to access the room, to set up the video, to record their encounter without her knowledge. She said it was all done to help promote Hart's Irresponsible tour, which was a record-breaking comedy, and to increase his overall pop culture status. Hart took to social media to publicly apologize to his wife, Aniko, who was pregnant at the time. He said, "I'm guilty of infidelity, regardless of how it happened and what was involved. The bleep that I can't talk about, I'm guilty. I'm wrong. It's beyond irresponsible. There's no way around it. That's Kevin Hart in his dumbest moment. That's not the finest hour of my life. With that being said, you make your bed, you lay in it." But the chick said she had nothing to do with the recordings. Jackson was facing charges of attempted extortion, attempted concealing and selling stolen property, unauthorized use of personal ID, and identity theft, per TMZ. The first three charges were dropped in 2019 due to insufficient evidence. And now the identity theft charge has been dropped for the same reason. And Hart took to Instagram to address the case. He said, "Look, it's no secret that my life has had its share of ups and downs. It definitely has. Not proud of the downs at all. But of course, that's life. Things happen. It's our job to adjust when they do." You know, they kind of put a fork in the road between he and I when he was talking about the case and his former friend. And he says, and that relationship was lost. But I'm glad that now, not only I can finally speak on it, but I can say I'm happy that that chapter of my life is over. I'm happy that we are able to put a period on that sentence, and I am excited to get back to life as we once knew it. And Jackson wrote on Instagram when the charges were dropped, he wrote in all caps, "All charges dropped in court yesterday. All praise goes to God." And he also thanked his lawyer for representing him, quote, "like a true champ. Thank you for believing in me from the beginning and rocking with a brother." So I'm not convinced that Tasha K extorted him. because he's got a history of lying when it comes to extortion. I believe that he sacrificed his friendship with his former friend for the sake of his marriage when he was out there being low down and irresponsible, cheating on his wife. Because like that story, when it first came out, it never made any sense. And then when all of the charges were dropped and everything, he just said he wanted to move on. Okay. I feel that the personal assistant coming out and sharing this interview, sharing her views on Kevin Hart and what has happened, it's another knock and blow to his already fragile marriage, and instead of taking the blame for what he has done, he likes to point the finger and blame other people for just talking about what he did or has been or is doing. So he doesn't care if it hurts someone else, if it's sacrificing someone else, if it's costing other people money. That person was his friend that he did that to, that he lied on. And his friend could have turned around and sued him for defamation. I don't know why he didn't do that, but he probably just wanted to move on with his life. And who knows? Kevin Hart probably paid him some money just to have him move on and say, look, I've sacrificed this friendship, this relationship. Here's some money for your troubles or what you went through. Go on about your business. Don't sue me and let's just move on. That's probably what may have happened. I don't know, of course. But this thing right here, I don't personally believe that Tasha K has extorted him. And I think the car accident that he was in was back in 2019. He was in a custom car that didn't have the proper safety measures in it, like airbags and seat belts and things like that. And the car was totaled. And that story was still questionable because he left the scene of the accident, which actually I believe is a crime, and was taken home. And there's just a lot of questionable things about that situation. But the reason I'm even speaking about that, not that that has anything to do with the interview or this alleged extortion attempt, it to me just goes to show the character of this person and not being honest. And so I just don't believe, my personal opinion is, I don't believe that Tasha K attempted to extort him at all. I just really don't. And some people may feel like, oh, she's just so arrogant. She doesn't care. She's just going to be in the poorhouse, because she continues to do whatever she wants to do and say whatever she wants to say. But she's made it clear that she has good representation, good legal representation now that has advised her on how to do things. And most people know that she's been doing a lot of interviews. And if Will and Jada have not come out and sued her for this explosive interview that she did with Brother Bilal, Will Smith's former personal assistant, and she's already done 2 interviews with him, and he's come out and said that he's ready to come back another time, and was pretty much saying if Jada doesn't sue him, this is what he's going to do and whatever, because there's nothing that they can do, or there's no case there. And Kevin Hart's personal assistant interview was honestly for a lot of people a bit boring. Yeah, she said some things about him cheating on her. To me, it just looks like Kevin Hart is who he is. He's a low down dirtbag in my personal opinion because of how he treated his first wife, how he got with his second wife, and wants his second wife to believe that he just messed up one time, but yeah, he was putting it on his phone to record, and doesn't want the personal assistant to come out to say anything else to reveal how he's still being unfaithful, which his wife probably knows. She's probably just hanging in there until it's time for that prenup to expire or get to a certain point in the number of years that she's been married to him so that she can cash in and cash out. My opinion, my belief. But I don't know about this. I really don't. So that's the only reason why I wanted to talk about it. It's not so much to report that she is being sued by Kevin Hart for alleged extortion. I just wanted to talk about it from the perspective of him not being a very honest and trustworthy person. I don't necessarily believe that Tasha K did that. I just don't. So you guys can, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.